Hi everybody. So we're back the next day. As you can see, most of that paint, all of that paint is dry. Once again, it's the alkyd medium that's enabled me to do that, enabled the paint to be completely dry for the next day. Now, as you can see, this first iteration, or the first layer, was just built up by playing without any real intention to find any substantial imagery at this stage. Now, already we can start to see relationships, and just almost by accident, really. I was just looking at this over the last hour or so, and already I can see a direction that I can take this painting. Okay, now just as an example, I've got some charcoal here, and I'm going to draw some of these shapes that have actually been working on me in the interim between yesterday and today. Now, I can see an implied sort of column here, so I'm just going to rough that in quickly, and we can see a sort of a curve. That's a directional force or movement down this way. And I'm going to accentuate that and bring that into this blue area here. Now that's one thing. Now what I'll be doing is working this with paint in a minute, but for the purposes of the video, I just want to point out where I'm finding these shapes and shape relationships. Okay, now if I come over to here, I can see the white ground. It's almost describing a square. So that to me is quite interesting at this stage. So it's offering, the painting is offering me something. So I'm just going to click in, and there's a sort of a half triangle there. Take it across, and then this little bit of earlier paint is curving down, so I'm going to put that curve in. There's another diagonal, or a vertical first, and then a diagonal going that way. So even though I'm drawing this at the moment, I'm using line, I'm going to bring this out not by using line, but by either working directly on the form or behind the form. Working, and we saw working behind the form in the video last week. But if I'm working behind the form, I'm going to be working the space. So this is the space, still quite active, and this is the form. Once again, at this stage, no intention to make it into an image, to make it into anything other than what it's giving me. Now, what else? Okay, there's another diagonal there. Look, here's a lovely energy or force movement that way, so I can come across and put that curve in. There's another almost horizontal here, which I can put across. So already you can see from just a very basic, playful beginning, we're now starting to get relationships of shape, which I'm now going to build out in paint. So I'll do that now, and then we'll open the video up again. Shapes and forms, no images yet. Still working the surface. This is probably getting to the stage now where I will have to leave it. Remember, I'm painting in oils. So this second stage or second iteration is probably reaching just about its final stage, I think, before I need to let it dry and then begin working on something else. Now, if you're working with oil, then at this stage you move on to another painting. So I'm just going to show you now a painting that I've been working on using exactly this method And you can see the multiple surfaces and the layering that's occurring there. Now at this stage there's no real image to speak of, but there are lots of possibilities. And the beauty of this method, this layering method, is that you get the start of the painting, which we've just looked at, but you also get the subsequent layers. So you get, you know, multiple layers, and you're endeavoring to restate some of the earlier layers that are interesting, or some of the earlier shapes that are interesting, and at the same time add new ones. So addition and subtraction. So for instance, a shape like this is made up of co-opting multiple layers. So in that sense, you're incorporating a time element into the work, you know, where the painting's been, its history, and giving that history a voice in the current time. Quite interesting, I think.